Hello, everyone. Welcome to another VIP Deep Talk. I'm Jan Kantymilczek, the principal ML engineer at DeepSense AI. I'm joined by Michał Tadeusiak, our VP of engineering. Hello, Michał.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
And now to introduce the man who puts the VIP into the VIP Deep Talk. Burkhard Boeckem, PhD. He's the CTO of Hexagon AB and has worked in the geospatial industry for over 20 years. Please accept our warmest welcome, Burkhard.
Thank you so much, Jana. Thank you so much, Michal. Pleasure to be on this call.
We're very, very glad to have you here.
We're glad to have you here.
And Burkhard, the wider the audience, the more people watching may be oblivious to what Hexagon is all about. Please introduce the company, its mission, and its focus for us.
Yeah, happy to do so. Hexagon, of course, is a global innovative technology company. We're known for what we call reality technology. We are about 25,000 employees, have a yearly revenue of more than 5 billion euro as we speak, and are active in about 27 industries and dealing with nine plus specific ecosystems. And everything we do is around taking the physical world and creating with our sensors, software and solution, cloud platforms, digital twins out of it. And then basically we use this data. And this is also where AI comes into the game, and making it meaningful, creating insights, creating stunningly photorealistic visualization of the data, and then trying to take the data, or our customer take the data, and then creating the insights, and then trying basically to bring it back into the real world, where then basically our customers create the impact in changing the world. Things that they have planned will be executed, buildings will be staked out, infrastructure built, and processes modified and optimized. So basically, we're pretty much end-to-end in all what we do. And I think this is also where the power of data is very important. And so the power of AI becomes a game changer for us in all the industries we play.
To put it plainly, Hexagon is a big deal and a giant company, at least in my eyes. And I'm fascinated by big companies implementing AI. And AI is very, 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 very important to Hexagon, as you've already mentioned it in the company's introduction, of course. But usually with big companies is that there is no space for hand waving, no space for big empty promises that are sometimes associated with AI, especially some AI startups. For Hexagon, it's always about tangible results right here, right now, as you like to say. How does Hexagon approach AI development and integration? How do you even decide where to invest into the bleeding edge research and where you want to wait for the technology to be fully mature before implementing it? How do you make that decision?
Yeah, we have a strategy of doing both, so to say. One of the key pillars is of course implementing AI technologies in our products, and we have it done already really early on. I think what came quite naturally in terms of machine learning, that a lot of our sensor technologies are point cloud based or image based. So the vision technologies, as you know, right early on was in the machine learning domain. I would say beginning 2000, we were thinking about tangible results already with machine learning. How, for example, a total station defines the right reflectors or target prisms from a multitude of other reflecting things in the field of view. And this is where already machine learning took Hexagon, I would say, on the right path. As we deal in terms of the sensors with a lot of data, then basically the second wave, which came with deep learning, was also really good for the products and the customers making use of them. And then already early in 2012, 2014, we had already 24 of products equipped and implemented with various forms of deep learning to make sure that insights of point clouds out of vision technology could be gained. And of course, some of the industries that we're serving are quite heavy of on a large amount of data that sits in documentation. So here, basically, what happens 2022, so to say, the big arrival of generative AI was very crucial for us and helped us boosting this. Then basically generative AI helps us in many ways, but also I would say in everything that is document related. Is it the vast documentations from the processing industry? Is it to get more efficiency into discrete manufacturing? These are certainly the hot topics in terms of where we use generative AI. And then other technologies which are around computational photography, for example, or as we speak of autonomous technology, creating various scenes and variation of scenes. For example, we are very strong in off-road autonomy in the mining and the construction and the agriculture industry. And here, basically, you have only so much scenarios that you can really gather, but you want your machine, your haulage truck, or whatever you want to move autonomously in these industries, of course, trained in a multiple of scenarios, changing weather condition, changing light condition, and so forth. And here, I think AI helps us to achieve all of this in order to create these simulation scenarios. And I think these are the things that we actively pushing, and you as DeepSense has helped us a lot over all the years. And I think a beautiful example of AI at the edge is what we did together with the Aura product. It's very niche. It's a new market for us, a new industry, but it's 100% Hexagon technology. And it's scanning the human face and then everything you want to analyze in this face, from wrinkles to the construction of the skin, what lies beneath the skin, these kind of things. I think this is a beautiful example on AI at the edge can work. And that is pretty much where we invest, and we do it in 3 steps. One of them is of course maintaining our loyal customers and giving them technology with the portfolios and the products that they're currently having to be more efficient, to be more productive in that sense, and get more insights in workflows that they already have, and improving these, of course. And then basically where we want to grow our portfolio are technologies, workflows, solutions, cloud platforms that we give new features that we enhance in a next generation that is very different, much more efficient from the previous one. And that is where we invest in our growth field. And then we have a category in our portfolio, maybe that's 15% of what we do, which we call transform. And these are the disruptive technologies. Technologies where we, of course, use a lot of AI in terms of clearly differentiate us from the competition and also from startups that there are. And sometimes we also disrupt ourselves. But I think, as we say, it's better to disrupt ourselves than being disrupted by competition. And this is also how we plan to do the invest. Of course, I think with new technologies, it's always easier to do a disruption there. But I think it's the trick, and I think Hexagon, we play it currently very well. To not neglect one of the others. I think the loyal customers, the portfolios that we have in the market, the workflows that are established since years, these are also very decisive to have access to new technologies such as AI is. And then is another thing. That was all the products, to be honest. It's also how you go about AI in your company. So Hexagon, and we're doing a lot of things inside the companies for this, an AI-enabled company. Yeah, that is one thing that our engineers and more than 70% of Hexagon engineers are actually software engineers. That we give them tools, and here we use, for example, our partnerships with the hyperscalers, meaningful tools, whether it's co-pilots or other agents that help our people to become more efficient in the way we, for example, develop software, or basically go about marketing, finding use cases in our quite big and large repository of all the use cases and customer stories, and picking the right images, the right videos. I think this is where I helps us currently. And then everything from HR to a sales process and also operations and productions. So this is the part maybe more assigned to what we call the COO, the Chief Operating Officer use cases, in contrast to the ones that go into product or product development, which is more CTO use cases as we speak. But I think equally important in order to make an impact in everything about AI.
Well, thank you so much. I especially loved how I talked about it as big company either takes risks or uses mature technologies, but you seem to be all over it because AI is deeply ingrained into Hexagon, especially when you talked about 2022 and the generative AI, well, let's call it revolution for the sake of the argument. I actually made the connection that at HxGN LIVE Global 2023, you introduced the concept of first-person innovation, so a more user-centric approach to creating products, and of course to Hexagon products first and foremost. I wanted to ask, is there a connection? Is generative AI a big thing in first-person innovation? If it's not, how does AI as a whole play into that?
You're absolutely right, and I think we talked about this, and you were referring to this earlier in our Right Here, Right Now keynote, where we try to share a little bit of insights in what is important for Hexagon to develop a product. And as our partners, I think you're well aware with us on this journey on various products. Yeah, you said, I think for us, and since quite some time, it started with a big rethinking on how we develop products. So for us, super important is a human-centered design, is a centricity around the person that actually uses the product. And it's not only about where the bottoms are or how the user interface looks like, whether it's intuitive enough and these kind of things. It's also the whole experience. And what technology wouldn't be better than AI, based on a lot of data, based on a lot of user personas, to give us the insight in as many scenarios as possible and test a lot of scenarios and give us user experience ideas. I think it's probably a hand in hand using AI and giving you opinions, options, alternate roads. And then it's basically the human, and then also very, very strong interaction with the person that we make the product for. It's always a person in the end. Is it intuitive enough? Is this most efficient enough for the workflow? And I think here specifically generative AI can act as a way and means to find you as many options as possible. I mean, probably we all then to some extent used in our own ways. And I think generative AI is a perfect way to open up new and find new alternatives, new options. And not only in design, I think this is valid for every path and every step along the journey of creating and developing products.
Thank you so much for this answer. It was both informative and actually very specific. So thank you so much.
Yes, I wanted to actually ask a few more things regarding. So you mentioned that you apply AI and somehow have to be able to answer to your customers in very broad space of technologies and products, ranging from Aura, which is the very, very recent developments, but also you have to somehow address the needs of your legacy customers. Hexagon is very broad with respect to its products, but also divisions. How do you manage development of these new technologies, and especially AI within Hexagon? What's the role of a central AI hub in all this versus responsibilities of separate divisions, and how do you manage that?
No, it's a very, very good question, Michael, because that's something we ask ourselves really early on, and I think we find, at least for Hexagon, a very, very nicely working setup, as you said. I mean, there is a let's say it's a model like congruent circles growing bigger, and I would say we are fortunate enough to have a certain size where we have something in the CTO organization called the Innovation Hub. And we have chosen the word hub by purpose, because you can really see it. This is a hub that is dedicated to innovation that connects all of Hexagon's divisions, and then basically the divisions serving the industry. So for us, it made a lot of sense to create within the Innovation Hub something called the AI Hub. So basically a group of specialists that is mandated to be on the bleeding edge of AI technology, to basically lead all, but not exclusively, our relations to academia, to fundamental research, and also to our big partners like Microsoft, like AWS, like NVIDIA, and many more, which create, for example, foundational models in order to have this traction and being close on the forefront to these partners. And then basically these group are also the one that consults the company in order, what shall I do, which technologies shall I use in terms of this. It's consultancy in one sense, and we don't see it that we have they're exclusively the opinion, but we're helping there. And for me, the consultancy goes much further than this. Also, this group is then responsible to develop certain, and we do it in partnerships, and you're a very good partner of Hexagon in this regard. In order to basically set up models, train models, come up with solutions for specific use cases that we then later can productize and in hand with the divisions then bring to the market. And that's another pillar that we have out of the three pillars where we base our AI portfolios on is the domain expertise of the divisions. And here the divisions play a very, very important role, and they own the product, the solution, the platforms as such, and they basically have the customer relationships, and they bring into the whole development the domain knowledge, which is very important if you want to achieve the perfect product market fit in that sense. And then basically together as a team, the divisional AI experts, the data scientists in the division, together with the AI hub, where we also have these AI competences, and then the connection to AI partners and academia to bring about the new development to product. The one side makes sure that we are bleeding edge technology. One side makes sure that we find the perfect product market fit in this regard. And you probably ask yourself, what is then the third pillar? Because both sides are covered. The third pillar is something that we set up a couple of years ago, and we want to be in all the leading technologies that we decided for us we want to play a major role in, and such as AI. We set up something that we called a corporate expert group. And I'm not super fascinated on the name corporate, because it probably doesn't reflect as much as we do it. It just shows you there's something company-wide, and this is where we value the contribution. It's a moderated group. You can think of a user forum, a domain-specific forum, where everybody in Hexagon having a stake in AI and doing developments or basically bringing AI forward in Hexagon can be in this corporate expert group. And currently we have far more than 100 plus people in this group. And so we make sure that on one side with the AI hub and the domain-specific AI specialists in the division, plus this expert group, we don't miss anything, because I think probably for every technology is important not to miss anything. But with the fast pace of AI development that we see here, I think it's crucial to not oversee a trend. Being quick here also with from a new paper or academy paper coming out of it until you have the technology owned or basically you master the technology. What do you do yourself? Where do you ask your partners for? And in which part of the AI story you want to play? And I think these three pillars and these groups help us tremendously answer these really difficult questions.
Yes, really. Thank you very much for your great answer. Actually, yes, I have this opportunity to work, very closely with you, and I'm impressed how Hexagon, being such a massive company, is able to be very kind of responsive to what's happening in an AI, which is recently developing really fast. You also mentioned that you have this different ways of when you have the central AI hub divisions working together. I wonder, is it like a thought of in the way that possibly AI hub is this the place where you can apply the most recent technology, and then be more like technology driven, while divisions are more like focused on the end users and being like more receptive to what their needs, and then like how does it work? Is it kind of like a tandem you design to see, or maybe like it works more autonomously? How does it work for you?
Yeah, I mean it's exactly your notion as you described. It's we always think of where comes the market pull from, and obviously from the divisions, knowing the customers, knowing what they do. Maybe not even specifically by the customers telling us, what they need in the next years to come, but also observing closely where the industry is going, where the workflows can be made more efficient. I'm not a big fan of the word pain points, so to say. I'm more thinking about productivity, efficiency gains, and so forth. But that is ultimately something where the divisions are looking out for. And then largely the technology push. It's something I always challenge my team in the AI app to do so, but it's not exclusively. I think both sides should have their eyes wide open in terms of is there anything that they see where customers would like to go, what they want to achieve, maybe not knowing which way to go here. And also for the divisions, look out for new exciting partners, look out for technologies. And I think not suppressing anything on the two sides, neither the technology push on the divisional side, nor basically the market pull on the AI hub side. And that's, I think, it's so important to have something like an expert group that has a periodically exchange that we don't miss out there. But normally, I have to say that, of course, the divisions are very much closer to the customers here, to our user base, and the innovation hub, specifically the AI hub here, has, of course, as a customer, the division, so to say. So I think we are not doing technology for the sake of technology. Also, it's an exciting field to be in there. It has to fulfill a purpose. It has to solve a use case, or has to, if you like the word, get rid of the pain and the pain points for the customers. I think it's more like an orchestra than two groups that have a common target, as I see it.
Yes, definitely. It looks like, it's an orchestra where you have to balance this all these inputs, and then how technology changes, how user expectation changes, etc. And to add to all this, maybe another layer of complexity, because this is something that Hexagon is famous for, that you do a lot of acquisitions. And throughout the years, there were hundreds. So I wonder how you foresee, or how you look at that in this AI field, which is developing very quickly right now. Is acquisitions also something that's going to play, or maybe play an important role?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Hexagon is based, as you would like to categorize, on two foundations, so to say. One is the organic development. I think so far we spent in this discussion most of the time probably on the organic side. But we should also see that over the last 20 plus years, Hexagon, which is still a young company, so to say, if you look and compare ourselves to the peers in the industry, which have a much older platform or much longer time building the platform. In the last 20 plus years, Hexagon has done more than 175, 180 acquisition. And of course, the ones that we were talking about lately, the newest acquisition in Hexagon, are all around software. It's mostly data play, so to say, and here quite naturally also a lot of flavors in terms of AI come on board. For example, the largest one that we did in the last years was acquiring Infor's enterprise asset management business, and an enterprise asset management business is very important to show roadmaps toward in APM. And APMs in the data play is, of course, based on artificial intelligence technologies here, or basically ETQ, which we acquired not only for manufacturing intelligence as a division, but also for the group dealing with quality data in feedback loops. And having a lot of data, a large data pool, large data lake, makes you ideally suited also for machine learning, deep learning, and other AI technologies to create more insights. And as Hexagon, you always try to find, and I think your questions before went into this, is it so complex to have so many industries? And I think if you boil it down, that we want to be the reality technology companies that creates from the physical world a digital twin, does certain things with us, and as a digital twin is the machine readable version of the world, or of your physics. It's a lot of zeros and ones, so to say. Then you have a lot of data that you can use for various AI techniques. But then we don't stop there. We try to get these insights or the new planning, the new designs back into reality. And it could be as simple as staking out the four corners of a residential home, so to say, or it could be something much, much more complex in the end. But that's a feedback loop that we do. And you can see copy paste this feedback loop applies then in something like discrete manufacturing, where from the design to basically creating a part, simulating a part, fabricating a part, and then quality inspecting a part, you want to know how to make this part better, even in the long term, maybe in the next generation, or very short term, that you see a trend on your machine tool that things may run out of tolerance. And I think this data is then also used for directly AI at the edge to improve the output or the efficiency of these machines. And I think that's something that is really, really important to do. So it's the feedback loops that basically binds us together. Is the latest acquisition, which come, of course, with a form of AI technology and data scientists that basically then become a very important contributor, either in the domain-specific part of our AI thinking, or basically as contributors in our expert group, so to say. But as I say, we welcome every new member to the Hexagon family, and they all contribute something very meaningful. That's why we picked them in the first place. And for us, it's always, and maybe this concludes then the answer to the question. Also very important that it's not a standalone bolt-on a business that fulfills one thing. It's for us, when we look at an acquisition target, so to say, we always look at the synergy play. Is 1 + 1 is doing it only 2, or is it 3 or 4 or 5? And if it's 2, if it's 3 and greater, then it makes a lot of sense for acquiring this. And this is also the way we think in terms of AI technologies. Or, at the one hand, we see a company which does a lot of data gathering, a lot of data bringing in by customers, by their platforms, and they don't have a strong play in terms of AI yet. And I think this is also a nice synergy play that together with Hexagon, within Hexagon, actually, we can then basically enhance the portfolio for the customers by bringing in a certain AI expertise.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, it's very, I assume it's kind of like in these days, very challenging to be able to pick up and pick especially the ones who bring this kind of synergies.
I wanted to dig down a little bit deeper, especially as you mentioned that most of the recent acquisitions were related to data play. In your previous answers, you've mentioned that the Hexagon's industrial sensors collect just vast amounts of data. that you obviously need to process. Also, smart digital reality is not just process the data, but it needs to process it in real time. So I wanted to ask you for some examples of how Hexagon is leveraging AI to make data-related operations faster, more accurate, maybe even outright possible at all, from impossibility thanks to AI. Whichever you prefer, but I'd like to know as much as possible.
No, it's a very good question. Yeah, let's start with probably the easiest and the obvious, so to say. As you said, we have certain sensors which probably have outgrown what you see in the market in terms of the frequency and the accuracy we gather data. If you see, for example, our scanners are normally top of the class in terms of how many points per second we can gather. And then basically, there's always been a ratio between what you do in the field, how fast you can gather data, and what you can process afterwards. And as we did increase so much the data rate at our scanners, for example, it became crucial, and this is where I plays in a decisive role, that if you model out of the point cloud your object, that you have a lot of AI help in doing so. Yeah, it used to be manual work, and it used to be one person in the field was probably working with maybe 3 to 10 people in the office modeling the outcomes. Nowadays, with what we call the Scan to X initiative, AI is taking a lot of this complexity out. So basically, you directly see this is the wall, this is the ceiling, this is the window, this is the floor, in terms of creating out of the scan point cloud and the imagery the scanner delivers a BIM model, or comparing something to a BIM, or comparing to something to a plan. And I think the human is and this is the holy grail, also taken out of the equation more and more, because there were normally the manual labor was the bottleneck, and to a large extent it still can be. The other thing is basically, and I think this is the holy grail in the whole field of reality technology and reality capture. You capture something, and then normally human had to interface with all the data, telling it what it is. Yeah. And I think making the word not only machine readable, but getting all the semantics right is a perfect example for AI. And I think we are on the journey there. Probably it will take a few months and probably years until it's 100%, but already an 80% level helps you so much reducing manual labor and getting errors of this error-prone procedures out. And I think that's where AI can help a lot. The other thing is then, once you have, and we were talking about, use the word smart digital reality that we also use in context of digital twin plus, I would almost call it. And I think super nice use cases we have here. Also in the processing industry, you have a vast amount of documentation. You have a brownfield plant, so to say. Maybe you know exactly what is your mean time between failures of a certain valve in a pipe in the process. It's then basically a huge generative AI. It's just the task to connect the valve that you in your digital twin with a valve that is in reality, getting the up-to-date and last status of documentation right, having in the chain maybe the supplier when the valve is broken who supplied this valve, and also here to close the chain, and with this vast amount of data, there's millions of valves in such a setting, to find the right things, to find the correlation between between the physical world and the digital world in order to improve the plant. I think that's a beautiful generative AI use case here to say. And as I said in the beginning, if you, as we are also on the simulation side of the business, generative AI specifically can create you so much options in so many scenarios that you couldn't probably invent yourself in a simulation scenario. I think that's also here. And we see it currently in our off-road autonomy offerings, that instead of training on hours and hours and hours of video data, which is still some kind of similar, you take generative AI, you basically generate the world, so to say, and then you create your own sandbox to train in. So I think these three use cases may be quite exemplary for what we do here.
I'd like to also ask, when doing long form AI, so to speak, so taking all of the point clouds, for example, and making them out to physical objects, and comparing that to any kind of real-time processing in smart digital realities, do you use pretty much the same AI teams, similar models, maybe just faster? In case of the real-time processing, or are those pretty much just separate processes? How much interplay is there? How much is it just separate projects, and that's it?
I mean, depends a little bit what is the right tool for the job, so to say. You probably, if it's really at the edge, so an AI chip embedded in a sensor, you probably go slightly different about, as you're dealing with a large foundational model that based on your training data will be tweaked a little bit. From an organizational point of view, yes, we have specialists for AI at the edge, and we have specialists for the generative AI side, so to say. But I think it's with all the developers that we do. A team has basically to answer these types of questions. First of all, do I do a make or a buy? Yeah, is there a technology outside where I could partner, license, or other forms of collaboration that gives me something in there? Is this a core technology that Hexagon owns, has developed over years, and we want to do the next steps? Then it's clearly a make, so to say. And then also we partner with people on the make side. So the make or buy question is quite crucial. And then normally, and I think that's a Hexagon almost unique question if you compare us to our peers, since we're making the sensors and we're making the software and also creating the platforms, we always think to ourselves, where do we let this algorithm run? Where's the home of the AI in this use case, so to say? And if something is really quick, and if the sensor needs to be autonomous, then it's AI at the edge. If it's something you want to see in the field, but can use mobile devices or even notebooks and laptops with sufficient connectivity, then this is probably the place to deploy it. If it's basically a massive geospatial undertaking, what we're doing currently with HxDR, completely cloud-based platform, where you basically process all the land cover of the Earth that you just flown with airborne sensors, as we have in our portfolio, then it's probably a very different play, and also probably much more scalable in terms of GPU power and so forth, as you would have on an AI chip in a device. So that's a question then to answer. And then basically the third question is, how do you go about training data and foundational models? And I think if a team has done a very good job, we probably all all answered the questions in the right beginning of the project. If we cannot answer, probably we test certain scenarios until a certain milestone in a project, and then decide on a path and way going forward. But these are normally the three most fundamental questions a team asks themselves, and they have normally full autonomy in doing so within a development project.
Thank you so much for sharing your perspective on such a wide range of topics. We are nearing the end of our allotted time. Is there anything you'd like to share before we close?
Yeah. First of all, Jan and Micha, thank you so much for having us. I hope I could share today with you what we think in Hexagon about AI, artificial intelligence, how we go about, how we develop AI, what are the three pillars of our teams that are involved of AI, and which questions do we ask ourselves if we go into an AI-based project? From all of the technology that's been trending in the last year, I'm a firm believer that AI is here to stay, and we probably underestimate the impact of AI that it has to all our lives and foremost the industry we're working in. So again, thank you so much for having me. It has been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. I wholeheartedly agree on the impact of AI and it continuing to affect our lives. It's been an absolute blast to have you with us. So thank you. This was Dr. Burkhard Boeckem, the CTO of Hexagon AB, everyone. Thank you again. We've learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience has as well. From our side, with me was Michał Tadeusiak. I'm Jan Kantymilczek from DeepSense AI. Until next time.